Okay, so I have some code here, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out how I can organise this code into functions. So this program, when I run this program, it does two things. Okay, first of all, here's the code. It prints some heading information there at the top, down here in lines 4 through to lines 10. Lines 4 through to lines 10. That says this is the first piece of code, so that's one section of code. In lines 15 through to 21, I've got my second piece of code. All right, now these are just simple examples. They don't do anything sophisticated. What if I want to take that first piece of code and put it into a function? Well, I can do that. That's very easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this in a couple of steps. First of all, I'll add a file. All right, now I need to give this file a name. So this file is going to be my functions, say. All right, my functions, right? My underscore functions. All right, now that's there. Okay, that's the file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to cut lines 4 through to line 10 out. I'm going to cut that out. Control X, cut that out. I'm going to go over to my functions and I'm going to make a new function here called part 1 of the program. So to make a new function, what I need to do is this. I need to use the keyword def, which is short for define. I need to give the function a name. Okay, I'll call this one part 1. Now I need to remember to use parentheses at the end and also at the very end a colon. Now I press enter, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste the code in. That almost works, but there's a little bit of a problem. All the code inside the function needs to be indented. All right, so now that's that. I've created the function. Let me go back to main. Now if I want to call that function, that code isn't there anymore. So to get that function, the next step is for me at the very top of the program, I will say something like this. From. Now what's the name of that code, that file that had that information? My functions. From my functions. Import. And now what was the name of the name of the code? Okay, it was part 1. I think actually I've made a little mistake. I think that should be named .py. I think I'm going to have to rename that. Import part 1. All right, let's see if that will work. Okay, so now I've got that green squiggly line. That actually, if I hover over that, that says I've imported it, but I've never actually used this function. So now if I want to use that function, all I do here is I just type the name of the function, part 1. Parentheses. Okay, so now when I run the code, all right, I've got this area here, from my functions, import part 1, no module name, my functions. Have I typed everything correctly? My functions. All right, can anybody suggest what I should do here? I think I need to rename it .py. Let's try that. Okay, let's try that. Okay, and that will work. Okay. So, let's try that again. Now, I could do several things. Let's say I have this code and I wanted to put this code. So let's try this again. I want to take the code from lines 12 through to 18. I want to take it out of there and I want to make a function. I could go and make another file and place it into that file. Or I could even have two functions in this one file here. Let me go back over to here. Come down here, down to the bottom. I've got to come back here, no more indenting. So there's going to be a new function, def part 2. Open parentheses, close parentheses, colon. Now let me put the code there that is the function. All right, that's not quite right. Can anybody tell me what's wrong with this? What do I need to do? Indent it, right, because I've got that key. Line 11 is the heading and everything underneath. Remember, Python uses a lot of indenting. Everything there needs to be indenting. Okay, now is this going to work? Come back to the main. Now if I type in part 2, will that work? I don't think so. I think I'm going to get an error. Why am I getting an error? because part 2 is not defined. So I should have said up here on line 1, from my functions, import part 1. And maybe I can put a comma there and type part 2. All right, now you can see that Replit is telling me, it's prompting me. All right, now the code will work. I hope. All right. Okay. One other alternative is to, instead of typing this line here, the way I've typed it in line 1, let me just copy that. I'll show you one other little way to do this, which is a bit simpler. I'll just remark that code out, and I'm going to say from functions import. Now, instead of listing each function in there, if I was just to import everything, I think that will work for us. Let's try that. That works as well. Okay. Making sense. How do I stop this from running?